Okay, dear friends, dear participants, dear speakers and partners, so we would like to welcome you on our already seventh course about green buildings in frames of Smarter Finance for EU project. Today we will have the course number 7 about financial consideration of green building projects. Very interesting topic. So we moved from more technical information to some financial aspects and instruments. And today I would like to welcome with us, first of all, it's our speaker, Andrei Botis. Together with him is Steven Bornkamp. They represent Romanian Green Building Council. And traditionally, we have together with us Eva Merheim-Aire, the leader of work package 5 of our Smarter for EU project. And I would like give the floor to Eva for official welcome and wish to have a good course today. Eva, please take the floor.
Thank you so much, Vladimir. Nice to hear everyone. Since today we have a special guest, the director of Smarter for EU project here. I will leave up to him to tell you a little bit more about the project for those who did not yet hear about the concept of Smarter. But let me just tell you that we are really happy to continue with these courses also in 2024. We are still planning to have one more course on the February 13th. We are planning to send the invitations probably today, tomorrow. So this will be the last course in this first round. Maybe in case there will be more interest to revisit some of the courses, we are hoping to have a few more courses also in the second round. So we are also keep you informed about that. And we are also planning to send you a form where you could just take and choose which courses you participated in order to receive a certification of completion. So please check your emails for these materials. And maybe before I give the floor to Steven Bornkamp, let me just quickly introduce also our guest speaker today. Our guest speaker is Andrei Botis. He has an extensive experience not only with the Green Building Council Romanian, but also with many other public and private institutions in Romania. He's an expert in valuation, brokerage, and real estate investment. He's also a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors in the UK. So today we are hoping to learn about the latest trends in compulsory but also mandatory green certification, market trends in building and renting green buildings. So we are very excited to have him here. So please, Steve, take the floor and tell us a little bit more about the context of the Smarter for EU, please.
Absolutely. And thank you, Eva, for the introduction. I also want to say thank you to you, Eva, who, for everyone who may know or not know, we started the Let's Build Green campaign, which was Eva's initiative on the last project. And this was very successful. And this was very important before Russia's latest invasion. It's even more essential now. I hope everyone obviously understands that, and we certainly do. And I think this is really just the start. You are the pioneers of this program, and I'll explain a little bit, what our plans are and why I think you're in the right place at the right time, and we'll do our best to support. Also, just to say a few more words about Andrei, my colleague here. We founded the Romania Green Building Council in 2008. And we were a voice alone talking about a very strange concept. As we all know, it's more important to know your friends in the difficult times. And Andrei has been with us working very hard as a volunteer doing everything that we asked. He was an early pioneer in green finance and many initiatives around what could be called green leasing, green buildings, green real estate. Has really been a pioneer for this country. We then asked him in the last few years to produce some research for our international initiative. So he has been published in green finance, and we have some very big plans ahead with conferences and updates of this. So this is best in class green finance that you're hearing today. So, and I want to say thank you to Andrei for his course today. And also to all of you. I just want to take just a few minutes to give you a little bit of background. This is our mantra for the course. We know that we need a green transformation. We need to move from fossil fuels. We all know this. It has to be fast, it has to be perfect, and it has to be affordable. It has to be all three, and we believe all three can be done. And we'll talk about what perfect means in one moment. I won't go through a lot of details, but we started piloting green homes, green mortgage programs in Romania in 2007. It took some time. We had a financial crisis, many of you know, around 2008, which slowed things down, but gave us some more time to plan. Around 2012, we started to have a successful program and started to sign real estate developers and banks and get the program off the ground. Having met people that were interested in our program and working with green building councils around Europe, we formed a consortium, and we submitted to the European Commission to replicate this program, which I'll talk about in 1 second. And that was a very successful program we did, and now we've done another program. The European Commission, the European Union, very much supports what we're doing. We're providing both a best-in-class program, but also real impact. And we've already produced real impact, and we have big plans in the near future. A lot of our program is around a green mortgage. You'll have this information, so I won't go into details now, but it is a systemic solution to a systemic problem that we'll explain in detail. But the main thing is buildings and homes. Homes can be 80–90% of the buildings in a country, so they're absolutely critical to our green transformation. We also look at the total cost of monthly ownership. That the cost of your home is not just the mortgage payment or the purchase of the house, it's the energy, it's the repair cost, and the health over time, and that this is very important. I will also say with this project, there is a very large amount of people. These are green building councils primarily, all around Europe, but in other countries. This is a view of the project, of its geographic scope. So obviously a focus in Central Eastern Europe, but also as far west as Ireland. Actually, I should say Colombia and Brazil are piloting the program as well. Indonesia to the east, the Republic of Georgia was in our project. And what is important to me, and I think important to all of us, of course, we need to solve Ukraine's energy emergency. And we need to do it very quickly, as I mentioned, perfectly and affordably. But what's very important for the political support for Ukraine, of course, is that we help all of these other countries that you see transition, and actually more, that are dependent on Russian gas, that we need to move away quickly and make sure that everyone is able to do the transition affordably and can build their economies off of this. So we see this as critical importance to support Ukraine, but also Ukraine is supporting us by creating a very nice story as we rebuild from this tragedy. So this is something that you have our full support. It is not only happening in Ukraine. We are trying to promote this throughout the world. Just for a little fun, this was an event that we did in starting in it was actually 2014 was the previous event, but in 2015 we organized a virtual exhibition. So much like a video game, or for those of you who know Meta, the Facebook 3D environment that they've created, we were doing this in 2015. It was a carbon neutral online event where people could join as avatars. Those little people that you see are actually people sitting at their computer over, I think it was 50, 60 countries at the end of the day. And we did this, and there's just a brief example of some of the speakers. I won't go through each one, but I can tell you that each of these speakers were the best in the business at the time. That these were visionary topics, these were very important topics. And I want to highlight one in particular. As you can see at the top, this was Elena Rybak, our partner from the European Ukrainian Energy Agency, with the title of European Energy Security through the Building Sector. So this was in 2015 that we were starting to push this topic. And I say that now because we had longtime support. We were doing the right thing. Not everybody listened to us. We know what the problem is now, but we're in, I think, a very good place to do this. This agency had partnered with us in the prior project, and now through other projects, we're very pleased to meet the Energy Efficiency Cities of Ukraine Association, and working very nicely with Vladimir and Svatoslav, who we've met, and we've worked both on projects in Romania, at the certification of cities in Ukraine, and we look forward to a big success with them on this new project. We have the support of the banking industry. The work that you're doing with municipalities primarily is typically a challenge to have private banks finance affordable housing for vulnerable persons. So this is something where our solution is not, we know the banks are necessary because there's limited public funds to do all the work that you need to do. But a lot of our project is to make it simple for the banks to do their job and to bring finance and to make, to add to government programs to rebuild the homes that we need. These are the partners of the new project. Just to summarize, some green building councils of Spain, Ireland, and the Energy Agency of Portugal is there. Some that you know, the two Ukrainian partners in the middle, Habitat for Humanity with Eva, Passive House Plus, which is our communication partner, really promoting best-in-class buildings, and lastly is EnerSafe Capital on the bottom right, which is a leader in green finance for Europe. The target that we mentioned in Brussels and for our consortium is we want to reach 100 billion euros of impact, meaning houses and housing projects that have signed themselves into our program. Now, that's we know the numbers to rebuild Ukraine are very, very high, and that this type of leadership and this type of transformation needs to occur. I won't go through all the details, but on the left side, we talked about where we started. And through the project, we reached 8.5 billion euros of projects under our program, 32,000 housing units, 8.5 billion euros. And this is where we're starting. So we believe we have the right program, and we will do this across Europe, and we have a lot of assistance for all of you. One of the things I want to emphasize is that we need to aim high. Having slightly less bad buildings is not going to solve our problem. So I just want to say in conclusion, aim high, and that you have support. The program can be done in that your very high standards can be done on a voluntary basis with financial support, with discounted green finance. And that allows you to set a very high target without necessarily changing the building code. And what I mean by that is the building codes often can be quite challenging to change too much, because there's a danger that you will block the market, that you will block development if the country is not ready. But that doesn't mean we can't set ambitious targets for pilot projects that receive special financing. And in our experience, not only in Romania, but in a number of countries, the investment and the construction industries do respond, and they respond quickly. They don't like to leave discounts for somebody else. They will find them and they will go for them. So this is a way of you, of course, want to improve your overall energy standards as a minimum standard, but we can also set some very high goals for special financing. So with that, I will turn this over to my colleague Andrei and say thank you and good luck with your course. And we look forward to your feedback and to an ongoing collaboration. So Andrei.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Steve, for the presentation. I will, before I open my presentation, I just want to tell you that the aim of this course is to have the fundamentals of the let's say the best practices in green finance, starting with the concept of the building, with the project of the building, up to the construction of the building, to finance, to a different type of financing, either it's private or banking or granted funded, goes to operations and to the end of the life cycle of the building. So basically, where everything we talk within this process, it's about finance, it's about money, it's about the cost of the project, financing cost, operating cost. So basically, before going through my presentation, I will ask everybody, because I usually adapt my slides according to the audience. So I would like to have for you, from you, a brief introduction, like 20-30 seconds for each, saying a few words about you, what is your working experience, and what you aim from this becoming a specialist in smart finance and in building certifying. So while I open my presentation, I kindly ask you to present yourself.
Hi, this is Iva from Habitat. So maybe I can start to break the ice. On behalf of Smarter, I'm running this part of Smarter focused on energy poverty solutions. So on my end, I'm currently working on a catalog of good practices for Ukraine, where we are trying to figure out how to blend public and private money in order to open the possibility of green housing to as many people, also from vulnerable groups as possible. So definitely the issue of how to leverage green housing in order to be able to open this type of housing to as many people as possible is a big focus and interest of me and my colleagues, and I believe also some of the municipal staffers who are here today on the call. Thanks.
Dear friends, don't shy. Please, if you not speak English, you can use your Ukrainian channel. Yes, please.
Доброго дня. Мене чутно, видно?
Так,
Вітаю. Так, дивіться, ми представляємо таку маленьку команду з міста Дніпро. Ми є викладачами будівельної академії в нашому місті і навчаємо на освітній програмі енергоаудит та енергоефективність в будівництві. Крім того, на базі нашої академії відкритий енергоінноваційний хаб, який займається наразі і практичними питаннями, енергозберігаючими проектами, і науковими дослідженнями в цій сфері. Тому, скажімо так, ми в освітній, науковій та практичній сферах, що стосується енергоефективності. Дякую.
Anyone else, please? Please don't shy. This information can help our trainer to modify his presentation, so please. We heard already that we have today representative of scientific institutions and also professionals in the fields of building. And okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Volodymyr. I work in Association Energy Efficient Cities of Ukraine, and we are partners in implementation of Smart FEU project. And today with us, there is a big number of people, representatives of municipalities. It's mostly energy managers and people responsible for some urban planning in the Ukrainian municipalities. So our interest as an association, as a representative of Ukrainian municipalities, is to give our people from municipalities new knowledge in the field of green buildings, because we understand that this topic will become like a mainstream in the rebuilding of our country after the war. And we are looking forward to have a much more number of people with this knowledge, to have those who will help us to rebuild our country better and with green component.
Okay, so
please, everyone else.
So if we don't have so many interests to make the introduction, maybe the language is the barrier. For your knowledge, I'm originally from Maramuresh, the north of Romania. I was born on the border with Ukraine in Sighetul Marmației, where is a border point to Ukraine. So I usually traveled to Ukraine since I was a kid, because part of Romania was split at that time, and half of the county belongs to Ukraine. So I used to travel to my relatives in Ukraine quite often, even I'm doing so. So even I'm not a Ukrainian speaker, but I quite understand few words. And I also understand the culture. I've been several times to Ukraine. I also been to Kiev. I think we are very close in the heart, in the soul, in the origin, and in the everything. I will continue. I will open my presentation, and maybe along the way we'll figure out to have more interaction. The idea to have more interaction is to know each other better, so we can get out the best of it. So basically, as I understand, we have most of the audience from the public institutions, from the Energy Efficiency Agency, from municipalities, and but also we have persons from the private sectors working in the construction industry and or working into the energy efficient calculations or projects, energy auditor, as I understood, no? So I will open my my first slide. Please don't hesitate to tell me if something is not working on or you cannot see it.
So far, we don't see anything loading. Let's give it.
Do you see the first slide now? It's working or?
No, we still not can see.
So basically, share screen. It should be working now.
Yes, it's starting. Yes, we can see.
So as the introduction was saying that my name is Andrei Botis. I'm currently the president of Romania Green Building Council. I have experience in green finance since the beginning. I work as a day-by-day experience. I'm a valuer. I work with almost all of the banks in Romania every day by providing valuation services and consultancy in business and buildings in Romania and in some cases internationally. So basically my background is in valuation, then assessment, the value of the buildings. As you well know, the new Green Deal basically was pushing away us to go in this direction. If we compare the 10 years ago, there were now no mandatory figures on the green issues across the Europe. But since 5-6 years ago, the European Union started to increase the mandatory fields within this building sector. So basically, we want or we don't want, we have to do it. So it's not compulsory anymore. It has been become mandatory. So my objective of this course is to assess and evaluate the economic viability and benefits and associated benefits with the construction operating and maintenance. So going to the basics of the definition of a green building. What is a green building? It's a construction that it was designed, it was built, and it was designed to be operated using the green principle. Starting from the project team, goes to the total cost of ownership by the end of the building. So far in the world, there are different valuation associations, like you can see here. You have Appraisal Institute, which is a body from America. We have TEGOVA, which is the European Group of Valuer Associations. We have RICS, which is Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. And we have International Valuation Standard Council, which is the body that creates the valuation standards, which are now implemented across the world. And we have the ANEVAR, which is the Romanian National Association, which have collaboration with all of these institutions in order to provide the best practices in the Romanian market in terms of valuation. So all of these bodies have implemented the green and sustainable principles, but also this principle were accommodated in the valuation standards. So if you look through the international valuation standards, you will find a section with the green and sustainability. So the valuation green standards are now provided to all the valuers which assess buildings across the world. So all the banking institutions that receive a valuation report, they might have some at least basic information about the building, about the sustainability of the building. I don't know how it works in Ukraine, but in Romania, it is mandatory that each building has energy performance certificate. So when you enter in a building, you should be seeing on a wall the energy performance certificate. That energy performance certificate, it's mandatory also in the real estate transactions and on the sales or on the rental side. You are not allowed to sign any sale purchase agreement or any lease agreement if you don't have an energy performance certificate. The aim of this certificate is to show, to have a real clear valuation of how the building is functioning at the moment of signing. Regarding this topic, it's anybody that can explain me how it works in Ukraine? How is the regulation for the energy performance certificate, if it is or if it is not?
Yes, we have such one. So we have energy certificates. This work started, as I remember, about 5 years ago. But the problem of these certificates that they include only basic information from physical characteristics of buildings, and it should not include some very important information about its real consumption. So the answer, yes, we have, but it needs to be improved, as I understand.
Якщо можна, декілька слов про сертифікацію в Україні.
Yes, please. Так, будь ласка.
Дивіться, у нас дійсно є сертифікати в Україні, і я хочу поправити там спікер, або він включає не тільки технічну документацію, він включає документацію про інженерні системи і включає характеристики про енергетичне споживання будівлі. Але на сьогодні у нас клас енергетичної ефективності оцінюється не так, як у всій Європі за СО2, а оцінюється просто за сумарною енергопотребою на опалення, охолодження та гаряче, на опалення і охолодження. Ось так. Тобто ми поки покроково йдемо, адаптуємо ці європейські нормативи і наближимо сертифікацію. І, на жаль, у нас енергетичний сертифікат не так впливає, як от в країнах Європи. Тобто такого нема, що ми заходимо у кожну будівлю і бачимо спершу, що там висить енергетичний сертифікат. Але є вже перелік будівель, яких енергетична сертифікація є обов'язковою. Дякую.
We can have a short translation of this because I understood, but not totally, and I don't want to make a confusion.
Потрібно повторити чи що?
No. Andrei, and for those people who understand English, you should stay on channel English. So if somebody will speak in Ukrainian in English channel, you will hear the English translation. And if you will speak in English channel, you will hear the translation in Ukrainian channel. So our participant have spoken in original channel. So if you want to reply, please switch first to Ukrainian channel so everyone will hear you in English.
Can you help me with this switch where I can do it?
On the panel of instruments, please find
show taskbar, no.
more interpretation and English.
Show taskbar, more. Show display settings. Show, no.
On the panel of instruments, please find button more.
Yeah, I got it.
There is interpretation, and there you can choose English.
Okay.
And for our participant who commented in Ukrainian, please do the same and choose Ukrainian channel. Шановний учасник, який говорив коментар, будь ласка, зробіть те саме, але оберіть український канал. Якщо можете ще раз прокоментувати, і буде забезпечений переклад.
Yes. It's fine. Thank you very much. I got it. Okay.
Добре. Дивіться, в Україні з 19-го року функціонує закон про енергетичну ефективність будівель. І згідно з цим законом у нас проводиться обов'язково енергетична сертифікація на цілої низки будівель. Ось, основна відмінність сертифікації в Україні і в європейських країнах є те, що у нас клас енергетичної ефективності наразі оцінюється тільки за показниками енергоспоживання на опалення і енергоспоживання на охолодження. А у всій Європі воно вже проводиться за первичною енергією, за викидами СО2. Але ми в даному випадку йдемо покроково до адаптації європейських норм. Тому і сподіваємося, що скоро і у нас буде така ж сама ідентична енергетична сертифікація. Дякую.
So thank you very much. It's clear for me now. So we can now continue with the following slide. So basically, we always have these questions of why should we invest in green buildings? This question is related to actually is with the money, because if somebody wants to invest, he will decide, he will choose the best option of finding a way to save costs. Either the saving costs are coming from a bank, either from another institution, or from energy efficiency, or from the other related costs. The aim is to save, but also to offer a very good quality of the building. So when we talk about why should invest, we are thinking about how to reduce the carbon footprint. Green buildings are designed to be energy efficient and to reduce the overall carbon emission associated with the energy consumption. How do we reduce the operational costs? How we implement the energy efficiency? How we have water conservation in such a way that also we save from here. We can also get some government incentives, but this is rarely happening. In Romania, Romania Green Building Council used to convince few municipalities so that they will give property tax reduction for all the green buildings. So in Romania, we managed to convince one of the largest cities, Cluj-Napoca, Iași, and Timișoara. So for a few years, those cities were given high incentives in property tax reduction. We were doing this in 2012, 2013, 2014. Iași adopted a little bit later, 2018, 2019. Of course, these incentives are not applied anymore because now the market got so, let's say, prominent of green buildings. So this is the municipality stopped to do this because in the towns, in those cities, most of the projects that are being launching and are being built in the past 2-3 years, all are green buildings. So they're not thinking anymore to be green building, but to be a top green building. So basically the highest reward is being taken by the developer and by the occupants of the building. Also, we will see in the course today that these green buildings are enhancing and are increasing the values. Green buildings are often higher values on the market, also from the perspective of an acquisition, sale or buy, either from the perspective of a rental. Also, the market demand and the tenant attraction, it's higher for the green buildings. For example, in Romania now, you will not find a big tenant, an international tenant or a local tenant to rent a space in a building which is not green or which does not have a proper green features. Even is not, let's say, certified. It should meet some standards. So because of the improved health and well-being, the tenants are constantly asking for these green features. Also, because of the international strategies that companies have within the corporate social responsibility. So when we are thinking about why should we invest in green buildings, we have mentioned several reasons. Related to these several reasons, corporate governance is related to corporate social responsibility. So for the companies as investors, they are all focused on CSR. So investing in green buildings is aligning with ethical and sustainable business practices. They are enhancing also the brand reputation and the stakeholders' relations. As sustainability is becoming more significant factor in decision making, green buildings are likely to be more resilient and sought after in the future. Investing now positions stakeholders to meet evolving the market demand. So the market is demanding it. Why is so important? Because the market is demanding it. Few years before, 10, 12 years before, the market was not demanding it. It was, let's say, in most cases, seen in the market as just a label, just, let's say, a status. But now it's becoming more and more mandatory. And this is not happening in Romania, but this is happening everywhere in the world. So when we put all the parties together, we have the clients, we have the investors, we have the third parties. So basically, this is founding the community. So a green building is not just a green building or a building, but is positioned as a community where everybody is benefiting of. The investors are benefiting because they have highest returns, they have a good market perception, and they have easily access to smart and green finance from the creditors. So the clients' employees are happy because they have improved health and well-being, because all the buildings are designed with occupant health in mind. Why is valuation so important? Because valuation is related to the initial question. Why should we invest in green buildings? Without a proper valuation, we cannot invest. Without a proper valuation, we cannot assess the total cost of ownership. Without a valuation, we cannot assess the energy consumption. Without a valuation, we cannot go to the bank to get finance. So between all of these factors, valuation is one of the most important thing. I have mentioned here a few of the, let's say, topics in the Romanian real estate market, but they are also related to international practices. Here in Romania, let's say, to divide the economy in two, we have 55% of the economy. It's being composed of Romanian entrepreneurs, and the other 45 to 50% is composed of international companies. So basically, the 2000 international company, they have like 50% of the market in Romania. I'm talking about all the industry. So the other 50% is represented by Romanian entrepreneurs or by family business. From all of this, the major tenants in Romania are international tenants, so the other 50%. So we can say that more than 50% of the market it's internationally related. So using the CSR from the international companies that are using it, we can say that it become an international practice. So they all need higher quality requirements in buildings. Of course, it is a high price pressure because of this high demand. It is a pressure on the price in the market. There are also related to the cost fluctuation because due to the recent events in the past 2 years, the cost fluctuations were high, not only on energy, but also on the other sides. And this was happening in Europe and everywhere in the world. And also it's a risk factor that it's unstable and unpredictable. This is the, let's say, the conclusion of the 2 or 3 years history. What happened in the past 2-3 years on a global scale, it reaches to here. So basically it changed the financial perception of the consumer. And it can be perceived as a high level risk of it. So as let's say, as a conclusion of what I was saying, that it's worth investing in a green building. Rather we have the costs or benefits. Can we have an interaction with somebody? By the way, at the end of this course, you will receive a few questions. Basically, it will be a small exam that everybody will have to submit in. I will not give a mark for everybody, but it will be pass or not pass. Usually 100% of the participants are passing the exam. That's why I was trying to create an interaction with you to try to understand what is your view on these courses and how we can manage to make the best out of it. So my intention is not to finalize this course and just to have a label on the wall, just to have a certificate on the wall saying that you finalize this course, but I want to also provide you with real value aspects from the market, and I want to make sure that I was let's say clear in my presentation. So please feel free to share any information of what you are thinking about here, because it's essential to the scope of this course. I rather want to see this course as a interaction between us and changing opinion, rather than presenting some facts in the slides, some facts that probably already you know about it. So please feel free to communicate. I have activated now the translation, and it will be much more easy to speak each other. So this thing, we can have a view on this. So I will go further, but please be prepared, because I will try to name some person. Maybe that's why we break the ice on the changing some opinions. So it is worth investing in a green building? I think yes. Do you agree with me? So if we
Yes,
have
I will say yes. Because I'm tired, just listen in silence. Okay, we'll try to communicate with you. Oh, okay, if I interrupted you already, I'm a student, so a little bit shy because I don't have experience, and I just want to participate and to know more information about green buildings and my dream to be a sustainable manager. So I'm here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do remember when I was going to school or to the university, and some of the lessons were so boring, and I always thought that if I would ever discuss with anybody and I will present something and I will teach somebody, I will try to avoiding the long let's say texts, and just to improve and to focus on the interaction with the person, because this is the most important thing, I think, because all the relation, basically we are now creating a connection between ourselves, so maybe we'll be able to further collaborate on different stuff. So you never know how we can share together the information, because basically this course is how we find the best practices in your market. You are passing now through a very difficult period. It's not easy to be in a conflict time, but because of this, it's also an opportunity that you reach out to many new buildings in the coming period, because I think that this conflict will end. I don't think it will last for a long time. So after this will be ending, you will have a huge opportunity by having in your country the largest and powerful international construction companies, developers, international banks. So you'll have this opportunity to rebuild part of the country. So all this information where we put together investors, developers, creditors, also tenants, for sure will benefit. So out of this we'll take, let's say, the good part. Also a good part is that because of this international exposure of the Ukraine became on the radar of everybody. So increasing the interest, this will bring many resources in the country. And I think the period that you have lost by developing the country, you will earn and reach much more returns after this ends. So we can take it as an opportunity. So going further, of course we have also benefits, but also some disadvantages. The good idea, the good, let's say, the bonus of a green building is that what disadvantage you have, you recover it along the way. So let's say now you invest a little bit more in a building. you invest a little bit more in architecture and then design. Maybe you pay more in construction. Maybe you have some extra fees for the green consultants. But looking on the benefits that you get from the operation of the buildings that you build, you will see that all these disadvantages are disappearing. So basically, it will remain only the benefits. Whoever builds green remain with the benefits. Of course, we are targeting the top of the green, not the entering points into the green. So from the tenant side now, of course you have to pay more rent because it's a green building. So this disadvantage of the tenant will bring the benefit to the investor. But also, speaking about the benefits, because you will have the low maintenance costs, the disadvantage that you pay more in rent at the beginning will benefit with what you will pay as a maintenance cost and utilities. So it will be compensating very fast. Not to mention that you may get some banking finance as an investor or as a tenant. So the banking finance that you'll get, it will be with a lower interest than a normal finance. So at the end, also the tenant is transforming the disadvantage in the benefit. Talking about the creditor, about the financing bank, it's also at the same table. They might finance, let's say, with more money. They will put up front maybe more money to finance a building, but what you will gain here as a creditor? First, you will meet the European framework in the for green mortgage, that a certain percentage of the collaterals you have are green. So this will improve also the reports of the bank. You will improve the corporate social responsibility, and also because you are providing a lower interest to the developer or to investor, you will make sure that you have a collateral that have a better appreciation in value than a normal one. So all the creditor disadvantage that they might have, those are transformed to benefits. So we have now Q&A session. I will accept at least one question from you. I think I cannot hear. It's not, something is happened. I cannot hear you. It's now fine, yes. So
I can try to break the ice then. Hi, Eva again from Habitat Humanity. I have a question, since most of the people on the call are from municipalities. So I'm wondering, maybe you can give us some guidance or tips on types of maybe funding municipalities could use when it comes to, like, so as I understand it, the issue in Ukraine is quite often that municipalities do not have much of the flats or apartments in their possession now, and renting is not really so common. You have a high level of home ownership. So I'm wondering, maybe as a part of recovery, some of the municipalities will be interested to increase the number of flats in their ownership, and they will try to look into ways how to repair some of the buildings up to green and highly efficient standards, and they were looking into ways how to kind of share this financial burden with the future tenants. So maybe my question is, can you maybe tell us a bit about the possibilities of, for instance, using the on-bill financing, like kind of paying for your utilities, maybe a little bit extra, and then the money goes into these repairs. Like, can you maybe tell us a little bit about these different ways, maybe how through ESCOs or like using the energy bills, how to have this kind of this just transition and sort of kind of soft way of putting some of the financial burden also on the tenants?
Yeah, so basically, if we are talking about the type of financing, as I can see it right now, without knowing exactly if there are any EU funding directions now for Ukraine, we are talking about three potential types. So one would be from the commercial financing institutions, of course, most probably international. The second would be the EU funding. I'm not sure about what is going to happen with this funding, but for sure there will be some directives for the reconstruction. And the third one is the private partnerships with investors that will bring, for example, different funding, for sure. So you may think about all of these three. Rather, we are talking about the International Monetary Fund or of the International Global Bank of EBRD or European Investment Bank or some other institution that might finance, for sure, because of this situation. If there will be a municipality approach or a government approach, they will provide special financing structures for building new homes or for building public buildings or some other types of infrastructure that you need. So basically, all of these institutions that I have mentioned, they are directly financing all of this in Romania or in other EU states member. For sure, they have a plan to direct a huge amount of funds to Ukraine. It's just a matter of communicating with them. I'm not aware about what government is doing on this level, but for sure there can be two ways. So one, governmental approach where the government is approaching some funds through the ministries and then releasing the funds to municipalities, or why not? It can be a municipality approach or agency approach, where the municipality is contacted directly, directing, or a specific agency is contacting directly the European Investment Bank or the EBRD for requiring such financing option for infrastructure, for utilities, for homes, for public institutions. So for sure, it's a direct approach that you can use it. I'm not sure if they can do it right away unless the conflict is finished, but at least you can start the preparation, because the preparation will take some time. Contacting the right, let's say, consultants in this probably will take some time.
Thank you, Andrei. And if I can follow up quickly on this, and maybe also use this as a bit of a commercial break, since you mentioned consultancy, Smarter for EU is also going to offer to, especially to municipalities and local public bodies, a consultancy support exactly on this topic of blending the public and private finance and kind of consultancy on the ways how to make green housing a little bit more attainable for the municipalities or for beneficiaries from vulnerable groups in some of your municipalities. So I would just like to highlight this again, that the offer is on the table from the side of Smarter for EU, and we are hoping to follow up with you after these courses and continue some individual discussions. Thank you.
So do we have other questions?
Я хотів би задати запитання. Зроблю це українською, можливо, щоб колеги з України могли краще зрозуміти суть питання, а Галина допоможе зрозуміти нашому доповідачу. Отже, якщо говорити про український ринок будівництва нового житла, то він, можливо, суттєво, скажімо так, відрізняється від європейських практик. І тут, якщо ми говоримо про зелене будівництво, то я так розумію, що в Європі це як конкурентна перевага одного проекту над іншим, тобто класичне будівництво будинку і зелений будинок, тобто зелений будинок виграє як іміджево, так і фінансово, що впливає на подальші там платежі і здешевлює людині іпотеку. В Україні, на жаль, а особливо в цій ситуації, іпотека так і не запрацювала, і очевидно в плані відбудови України після війни, в плані забезпечення людей житлом, в нас будуть працювати як міжнародні програми, так і будівництво буде здійснюватися за кошти девелоперів. Але для них постає питання, якщо не буде, наприклад, законодавчо встановленого обов'язку будувати по стандарту Green, відповідно, їм потрібні стимули для того, щоб обирати саме зелені технології будівництва перед так званими традиційними класичними, які апріорі коштують дешевше. Тобто, якщо ми обираємо Green, то розуміємо, що на квадратний метр витрат буде більше, відповідно, і вартість того житла буде більшою. Оскільки тут так само присутні муніципалітети, чи відомо вам, Андрей, якісь практики або, можливо, якийсь початковий досвід тієї ж Румунії, коли сфера зеленого будівництва тільки зароджувалася, і якою роль була саме муніципалітетів в тому, щоб заохотити девелоперів будувати саме Green, а не класично? Тобто, можливо, це якісь місцеві податкові пільги, якщо це є місцеві податки і збори, можливо, це більш жорсткі методи там урбаністичного планування, тобто обов'язок, наприклад, деякі міста вводили по тому, що у них, наприклад, забудова може бути тільки на технологіях Green. Чи є, на вашу думку, потенціал у муніципалітетів бути дійсно такими не пасивними спостерігачами, а дійсно учасниками цього процесу на цьому початковому етапі, на якому знаходиться Україна? Дякую.
I don't have the right answer in mind, but from the previous experience, for us it was difficult to have in legislations some incentive for green buildings at the government level. But for Ukraine, it will be easier because there is already at the European level created a framework. Because we started ahead of all of this, as Steve said, in 2007. This was 2007 actually was the year when Romania entered the EU. So there were some sustainable and green directions, but at that time were not really mentioned. So it took few years until we worked to change the perception of all the stakeholders, to change the perception of public institutions. So there is always a breaking point where and a point to start, and I think the starting point is now. If not already it was, because with all of this Smarter for EU project and some other similar projects, some of the stakeholders in Ukraine used to learn about those things in the past 3-4 years. So because of this is happening now, make it much more possible and much more visible to be change in the legislation. So as now it's easily communication between the government and the EU, I think it's very easy now to make some legislative change at the central level. So if you as a local administration or local agency, I think you have now big power to, let's say, influence the change of the legislation, because it's everything undergoing. So there are examples in the market that we can give you some that you can start from somewhere. It's anybody with some other question or comment? So we go to the next topic. So we're the valuation topic. How we assess a green building? What are the criteria? In your experience, did you ever work or did you ever see an evaluation report for a green building or for a building in general? So when the investor or the bank is making the decision to finance a building, it's green or not, they will look to the cash flow. So what is that building generates? Of course, the cash flow is related to maintenance cost or to property tax. But at the end, the net cash flow need to meet such expected rate of return that the developer will need in order to show the bank that the investment is feasible. So we'll need to have a breaking point where the building becomes attractive for the financing body. But each rate of return is related to the expectation of the investor, developer, or for this matter, of the bank. So in order to assess this, we'll need to have the cash flow, the inputs and outputs, in order to have the expected rate of return, and in order to determine the present value of the investment. Why it's so important, the present value of the investment? Because we start the process of construction now, but it might take 3-4 years to finalize the development. So we have to find the best way of how assessing the value of the building in 4 years to the right to this moment, because we are doing now the assessment. So basically, we'll have to think how 1,000 euro will worth in 4 years, and how much 1,000 euro worth from 4 years ahead to now. So this is the concept of how to value the money in time, because the money in time are not the same. If we go back, if we take 100 euro now, for sure it's worth less than 100 euro 5 years ago. So basically, if we are thinking about how this 100 euro will evolve in 5 years, when you do the assessment, you have to find the best way of valuing it. This is an essential indicator in the valuation of a building in general. On green building, there are some specifics that are taken into consideration. So, in the cash flow, of course, it depends on who is the party which is in here. If it's the bank, the cash flow is a little bit different. If it's the investor, it's different. So this is also a concept of type of value, because a value can have different, let's say, different type of definitions. If we do the valuation for a bank for lending, we have a type of value, and there are some standards that value a building from the perspective of the bank. If we do the valuation for an investor, we might get the investment value, and the investment value usually is different from the value for the bank. And also we might have some different values, like the value for property tax. So suddenly we have 3 types of value. One value that is done and registered at the property tax authority, one value that is for the bank, and one value that is specifically for the investment. So in all 3, we have the initial payments, and we have the payments during the operation of the building. if there is a financing involved, you have an initial payment related to total investment, let's say construction, and then we have the total payments along the life cycle of the building, which are composed of payment to the bank, because you have to pay the mortgage. And this also related to, it can be a green home, not just a green office building. We always have a green mortgage payment. But this green mortgage payment, usually it's worth less than a normal building, let's say. So in all cases, when we have a green building, we pay less. And we also pay less from the maintenance cost. We have a low maintenance cost. So it's not just, let's say, deduction in interest, but it's also operational cost savings. As I said about the cash flows, at the initial setup, we'll know exactly how the cash flow is running. Because we make the calculation for the total period of lending, but also for the total period of the construction is operating. How do we estimate the expected rate of return? Of course, we are coming back to the risk and profitability. How do we assess the risk and how we assess the profitability? So the profitability we assess from the total income versus total outcome. So total income means the total revenue that that building is generating or will generate, and the total outcome is related to the operational costs. So the operational costs include maintenance costs, administrative costs, property tax, but also include the mortgage payment. So we all have to take all this into consideration. Does anybody know what is this formula?
Calculation of costs at the end.
So basically, this is the formula where we constantly use in the valuation to assess the net present value. Is the fact that I told you before how to transform the value from the fourth year to the first year, to the initial moment of the investment. So if we are to build, to invest in a project, let's say, which will be finalized and fully operational in 3 years, we'll have to calculate that what the investment is in 3 years and how we transform the residual value of the building to the present. So let's say we are building something and it will take us 3 years. Now, after the building is ready, we will have, let's say, the 5 years, the next 5 years or 7 years of operation. So suddenly we have 5 plus 3, 8 years of assessment. So in the year 8, the building will have a residual value. So how we transform the residual value from the 8th year to the initial starting point of the investment. So all this money are to be transformed in the net present value in order to have the investment decision. But because when you do the investment decision, you sit together with the bank, with the constructor, with the developer, with all the consultants involved, and you make this expected rate of return. So if this expected rate of return is good enough, then you can start the investment. If not, you won't start the investment, or you find a way that investment will work. And this is a fundamental indicator. Rather, we are talking about a private institution, public institution, or some other type of investment. This is an indicator that we always have to take into consideration. So it's a general. It's not necessarily about green buildings. It's a general, let's say, indicator. From your experience, did anybody use this indicator? So if you, whenever would like to make, let's say,
Yes.
a calculation like this, in the Excel, you can find the net present value formula that will calculate automatically for you. You won't need to use this on a notebook, on a notepad. So you can do the calculation automatically in Excel. So it's not meant that everybody here in the course should use this, but for sure everybody here in the room must know that about this indicator and what it means. So at the end of this course, we have to know that this net present value, it's a fundamental indicator in the investment decision. So along the way, any project you will do, please use this net present value indicator because it's essential in all the investment. Usually when you do the investment, you do a feasibility study. So within the feasibility study, this is one calculation that you will have, and you'll find it there. So as I said, the Excel will do it for you. You'll just have to provide the inputs. Also, this is another formula which is used, the profitability index. This is also something that you might calculate at any decision level, that and any decision that you make, you have to do this. Also, the third indicator is the internal rate of return. All these three indicators you will find in the Excel, just typing IRR, and will automatically appear. You will enter the details, and they will make the calculation for you. The idea is to understand the basic principle. So what is the payback period? What is the initial investment? And what are the cash flow generated by the project? If you are a public institution and you decide to build construction for your own use, you have to calculate this if it's worth for you, because it might be easier not to construct, but maybe it will be easier for you and cheaper to lease a building, not to build a new one. So it's a matter of what do you want and what are the expected return and the payback period. If you make this analysis, you can have the right figures and the right decision of how to do it. What I propose to you now is to make a 15 minutes break for everybody. So it's we can see each other in 15 minutes. Let's say 12 o'clock. It's fine for you?
Sounds good. Thank you.
So think about how are the money transformed in time, and how the value of money is evolving, because this is an important concept in green buildings. So thank you for now and see you in a few minutes.
Просимо учасників не вимикати ваш Zoom. Залишайтесь на зв'язку. Продовжимо нашу розмову о 12-й годині.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Everybody's back. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay. Is the share screen works?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay. So you see the slide moving?
Nope. No, I see the first slide now. The Green Finance, New Green Deal, the very first slide. Or sorry, it's the second actually.
But now the same?
Yeah, it's still the second slide. Or actually the presentation says 27 out of 40, but it's still not moving.
It's moving now?
Yes, yeah, it is.
It's not moving?
No, it is moving now. Yeah, so the risks and profitability, that's the one we see.
So it's good. Still have a problem with the sharing.
So now that the presentation disappeared. And it's back on, and it's the presentation mode. The payback period is the slide we can see. Yeah, and it's moving. So now investment opportunity analysis.
So, hello everybody. I hope you enjoyed the coffee break so far. We are coming back to the investment opportunity analysis. Where let's say it's a self-made calculation where we have a building of 5,000 square meters designed to be rented to multiple tenants. We estimate the construction cost of 1,000 euro per square meter, a monthly rent of 14 euro per square meter, and expenses of 1.5 euro per square meter with an occupancy rate of 86%. So for this one, we have an expected rate of return of 8%. Or 8%, an expected rate of 8%, it's commonly used in Ukraine, or it's a bit higher, lower? Do you have any of these figures in mind? So let's say that 8%, it's a good percentage. So it's a market percentage, also in terms of rent and the construction cost. So we are to assess the life cycle cost. So when we are talking about a green building, the life cycle assessment, it's I can say is the most important indicator, because in the design stage we are doing energy modeling for life cycle, and we can estimate the total energy cost for the entire duration of the building. We can estimate what is the total savings for the life cycle of the building, and also we can assess what is the rent, what is the depreciation, and what is the amortization for the life cycle of the building. So if we start with the life cycle assessment, for sure you have learned about life cycle assessment in the previous modules, probably from Elena. So if we take that indicators and we put it here, it will reach out an exact figure of what is the level of the initial investment, what is the cost per year for the total period, but also we'll have to estimate the cost of this disposal of decommissioning of the building at the end, because basically how we do it, we say, okay, the total duration of the building is 50 years or 100 years or 80 years, depend on the type of the building, depend on the legislation in each country. After we explode the building during its duration, by the end, we have a building, let's say that it's at the end period of time. So when we reach the end of the period, we have two options. Either we demolish the building. So if we demolish the building, we have to assess the cost for the demolition, but also the cost, the total costs, including possible decontamination costs, in order to reach the site to the same level that it was before. So this is one option. The second option is either we redo the project and we reconsolidate the building. So for a new operation, we are going to make the life cycle longer. But making the life cycle longer, it means that we have to do a new investment project. So the new investment project, in order to make the life longer of the building, we'll have to take into consideration this either disposal cost or renovation cost. So remember that life cycle cost, it's one of the most important thing when we do a green valuation investment. So here we have another type of calculation where the opportunity cost of capital is 6%. So how do we estimate the cash flow for each category of participants involved? Does the market correctly integrate these elements in the price? This is still a dilemma. While we're in a very developed market in terms of real estate developments and in income producing assets. Rather, we are in a new market. It's still a dilemma. How we correctly integrate and calibrate all the construction factors or all the costs of the project within the market. Because if it's not well fitted in the market, the project will not have success. So a green building, talking about a green building, we are talking about green success. How we reach to green success. So green success, it's basically the target when we aim to do this investment, because if we do everything right, we reach the green success. If we don't do it right, we're not talking about green success. We're not even talking about green. So if we combine all the elements and if we do the right thing, we will reach here to the green success. I know that maybe it's a difficult period to think about it in your country. It's not the best option to talk about green buildings and green success in this current environment. But if we think positive and thinking that everything will end soon, maybe we can, let's say, a little bit disrupt of this thinking. I'm sure the country, I know that the country has other priorities, but combining the existing priorities with the infusion of some green concepts between the mind of the government people or the government people, for sure the building sector will reach a good level in the coming period. So talking about all this implication of a green building, do you consider its certification a must, or do you consider that maybe it's not a must to have a certification? You can have a green building without certification. Of course, you can have a green building without certification, and for sure there are different types of green buildings without certification and that are operational. But it's important. I think it's important when you are looking an investment which exceeds an amount, the certification cost is not so high. While now in the market we have all the necessary equipments from an installation perspective that are very energy efficient. We have the construction materials in the market that are certified of eco or other types of sustainable certification. It's easily to do this because now the cost of materials and of the equipment and high technology and high efficient equipment, it's almost the same as the normal one. For that matter of fact, the producers are not doing equipments anymore and materials which are not environmentally friendly. So it's a big advantage that rather we go in the market, we can easily find several producers with different types of savings, efficient savings at a market price. So when we are talking about signaling the certificate, the building, it's good to have certification done by an international body or by a local body that took into consideration all the phases, starting with design, construction, and operating. So I consider it's a must. And together with this Smarter for You project, considering all the data that are provided, it's easily to understand how a certification is done. It's easily to take and adapt to your local market all the green features. And the advantage of this certification, which we are promoting within this project, is that it brings to you a comprehensive approach, a holistic approach of all the, let's say, points that a building needs to have in order to be as sustainable as possible. So when we design it, we thought of what would be the best practices oriented to Europe or this part of Europe. So we assembled the best practices from the best world certification which are known in the market. So whenever you look to those criterias, probably 180, 200 criterias, you should think about that this is the best approach that can be used in the market at this right moment. Rather, we are talking about LEED, about BREEAM. They were designed for US or for UK markets at the beginning, of course adapted along the way. But when we are talking about the benefits implied and the costs of Smarter for EU, about green home certification, you will see that it's leading all the criteria. So I will not go into these details, but it's good to know what are the, let's say, best practices in the industry. And it's also good to know that if we think of a green building, rather it's LEED or it's BREEAM or it's Smarter certification, we should think of excellent or outstanding and platinum for LEED. So we always took the top what we can get. So we start from top when we think of a building. We don't take into consideration the silver or the good indicator from BREEAM. We always think about the maximum we can get. So we need to have the target as the maximum, because if we go to maximum, we make sure that at least for the life cycle of the building, we'll have the best building, we'll have the best financing products, we will have the lowest operational costs. So think about it. Always tend to be the best, because this will bring you the real value of the certification system. So is the LEED or is the BREEAM the world's largest certification? I think yes. But taking about the let's say modern adapted instruments for our markets, smarter and green homes are very adapted to the local market. So if we have one of these certification in place, for sure we can have the stakeholders providing benefits to us. If we build green, but with no certification, okay, we have a building which is green but has no certification. It is good, yes, it is good for us, definitely. It provides value, yes, it provides value. It provides health, it provides health. It provides savings, yes. But what is not providing, actually, if it doesn't have a certification, we cannot have interest rate preferential, and we cannot have green bonds. If we have a label on the building, on top of all the benefits that it gets from it, we will also have the benefits from banking with finance, which for sure will provide a preferential interest rate. We'll have the option to issue green bonds. Yes, we'll have. And we'll also have on top of that, we'll have the marketing that will raise the fame of our building. Everybody wants to live, or everybody wants to have the office in a famous building. So on top of all the benefits you have, you also have the fame of being certified, which is very, very important. So basically, this is my part of this course. What for sure you need to let's say it's the things that you have to remain in mind, that not forgetting along the way, that the most relevant thing when we do a green building is the calculating the life cycle cost of it. So the life cycle cost of it refers to the total cost of owning, operating, and maintaining an asset over its entire lifetime. Of course, this concept it's often utilized by most of the financiers of engineering project management. So I think when we value this as an opportunity, we have to think about this life cycle cost and to evaluate the financial implication of it. So this is the formula for the life cycle cost approach, and I think that this is the most important thing when we thought about it. The second would be how to calculate the net present value of it. So the net present value, it reaches our investment on the ground. Having the net present value in a manner that reflects the market, we may know that if we construct a building and in 8 years will value 10 million euro, the 10 million euro from the year 8 to the year 1 is different. And in this way, we see how the value are the values are transformed in time. To give you a, let's say, a very, very easy example of and to remember it along the way when you hear the net present value, I made a calculation of what was worth 100 euro in 2006 and what is worth 100 euro in 2023. So I will put a question in the room. How do you think the 100 euro in 2006 transformed to 2023?
Ten times less.
Less
Як було 100, так і залишиться 100.
Я думаю, десь 50.
So, speaking about
В Америці інфляція 3,5%.
Долар сьогодні дорожче, ніж долар завтра.
До чого рівняти його?
So basically, to transform, considering the inflation indicators in Romania and actually in Europe, taking into consideration the index price of consume in Europe, what you could buy with 100 euro in 2006, you can buy with 200 euro in 2023. So basically, we are talking about an approach where this is how the world is evolving. Whatever we can do today with 100 euro, we will not be able to do it in 5 years. This it's historically demonstrated. That's why the concept of net present value is such important, because for example, I'm sure if we do the calculation, the figures will be much more different if we take the 100 euro before the Russian conflict started in Ukraine and 100 euro now. Is totally different and probably from simple to double. I am right, because here you have a, let's say, contemporary approach where you can feel it in your pocket. Whatever you did with 100 euro before, what can you do it now, or the value has changed? How you can see it? This is a, let's say, a small debate.
У 2006 році в нас було $8, зараз $28. І якщо взяти топливо в Америці, там було 0,95, по-моєму, галон, і зараз так само практично 1. То все залежить від того, з чим порівнювати.
But if we compare 2020 with 2024 in Ukraine, what you could do with 100 euro in 2020 and what you can do now with 100 euro. It's worth less or it's worth more?
I will add, of course, everything became more expensive, even if we are speaking about materials and clothes and everything. So now I can buy less than before the war.
So basically the value of money has changed. So if you could buy with 100 euro, let's say 10 square meters of tile, now you could buy 10 square meters of tile with 150 probably.
Maybe I didn't calculate this.
Yeah, it's just a matter of comparing, not necessarily to compare to the tile, but we can also compare with the, I don't know, with the general consumer goods. I don't know. If you go to supermarket, you can buy with 100 euro something, and now with 100 euro you can buy less. Probably.
Yes, exactly.
So probably at least less 20-30%. No?
20-30, maybe even more.
Even more. So up to 50.
Maybe I can't judge because now I'm living in Stockholm, so I can't say. But my friends, they said that yes, the price is increased a lot, maybe 40%. I don't know. Especially on materials, food, and some of my friends said that they can't continue like building their houses because materials are so expensive now.
Is anybody doing construction now in these times?
Yes, with a big hope that everything will end. We will win, I will add.
So there are construction undergoing, you mean?
I mean private houses. Yes, some of my friends are in the process now, and even some of them bought new apartments in Kiev. So it is a hope that everything will be fine.
And so basically, there are private investments, as I understand. But those private, there are private investments.
Yes, private. Yes, private investment.
So is this this is a demand because there is a shortage in buildings, or this is let's say a normal way of demand? This increased during the war or decreased the construction activity?
I can't say at all because I'm not a specialist. Can you repeat the question? I didn't understand.
So the construction activity have increased in the past period or have decreased in the past 2 years, let's say?
Okay, I'm not a specialist. Like I said, I'm a student, and I think in total it decreased because some projects, some buildings, they just freezed, stopped. But some, I don't know what is the reason, some are continue to. I think the buildings that were built already, finished, they're just selling their apartments now. And those buildings that were in the process before the war, they just stopped.
Construction price now higher than 250% approximately in Ukraine.
250% more
Yes,
for construction.
for constructions in hryvnia. In euro or US, it's less. It's I think 140 higher.
140% more.
Yes.
So basically, if you could build with 1,000 euro per square meter before, now you can build with 2,000 euro and something per square meter.
No. Now for 1,500. If you are talking about euros, if you are talking about hryvnias, it's like 250% higher.
So it, whatever was 1,000, now it's 1,500.
Yes.
Okay. I understand. Okay. So basically, this is the benchmark for construction prices, let's say. But the benchmark for high consumer products like food and everything, how is it? Is the same?
If you're talking about the food, it's less. I think it's 10%, 10-15% if you're talking about euro.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of our production food. This is the reason.
Mm-hmm. So it's not so high because you use a lot of internal products, no? That's I understand.
Yes, everything right.
I remember last time I was in Kiev, I think it was 2018 or 2019. At that time, I remember that that most of the new developments, not residential but office or retail, were internationally certified. Between since then and since now, are any of the residential projects certified? Are you aware of any? Or the market remain focused on the commercial side?
I don't have such a statistic.
I was asking because I wanted to know what my slide will be, oriented towards commercial or oriented to residential. So I hope this concept of let's say net present value, it reached to your mind and you understood what is the importance of it, because any of the external factors, economic factors or geographical factors, in some cases can have a direct influence on the results, on the value. Before all of these conflicts, we had a specific, not a specific, but we used to have a, let's say, inflation was constant. The interest rates were constant. But when all of this COVID and then the international conflict in Ukraine and other conflicts across the world have happened, all of these indicators were exploding. So it was not a proper explosion of bombs of rockets in different parts of the world, but also an explosion of prices, which generates different indicators that challenge the global economy, the local economy. So basically, different period of time. So if we were to have this discussion in 2020, looking ahead for 5 years, we would have a different net present value for the same money that we are having now for the next 5 years. But if all these world conflicts or events didn't happen, basically the world would evolve the same in a normal way, because all of this, everybody, everything was forced. So because of this, all the numbers have been, let's say, put it in disorder. And right now we are not in the moment where we have, let's say, order the things. The world specialists are still working how to do and how to find the best way to put it in the right way. The central banks, the international big banks, they are announcing that and they are making projections that the inflation will go down, the interest rates will go down, the prices will be stabilized, but nobody knows when this will happen. So we have so many political factors. This year we have, let's say, one world premiere that I think most of the 60 or 70% of the globe, there are elections. So it's quite a rearranging the world leaders. So last time we had that, probably it was in such a big, maybe we had some rearrangement of things in '89. We have some rearranging of things in 1980s, 1918, when some of the nations were formed. So we'll see how this will evolve, because all these world factors, all these economical factors directly influence the cost of living, directly influence the total cost of ownership, influence this indicator that we are talking about. And I told you it's very important, the life cycle cost. So remember, life cycle cost and then present value. I will switch to the next. I stopped sharing now. I stopped. Yes, it did stop. I'm shutting down this one. And I'm opening the new one. So regarding my slides before, I will address probably 3, 4, 5 questions. I will think about by the end. The most relevant question that will, let's say, put in light most of the important things of my consideration. And some of the questions will be with the exact response, yes or no, or a number. And some of the questions will be related to understand what is the way of thinking after you attended this this course. So there, I will leave you the free interpretation and the free, let's say, free way of thinking. They're not with exact answer. It's a proper manner of answering and approaching the topics that we are talking about, because our idea and our plan is not to show you, oh, you are wrong. Our approach is to make you understand and to make you feel comfortable with this concept, so you can use it and you can apply it in your real life. So let's see if we can do a screen share again. Screen share. Okay. Sharing. Screen share. Can you see my sharing?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. So, following the financial consideration, I hope we all agree that if we build green, we get some financial benefits. If we build green, we get a better life. So basically, if we are financially motivated, if we have better life, better health, there is no need to prove that why we need green homes. We all want to save money, we all want to make money, so we save money on the energy saving sides, we make money on the interest rates, which are lower for the green homes. So in a right green finance product, you can make at least one installment per year as a bonus. So think about, you can live in a nice house, in a greenhouse, which is much more healthier, which looks good, and you also pay lower rates. So instead of paying 12 installments in the year, you pay 11. You pay one less. So it's a great combination of health and how you make money, actually, because you don't save money, you actually make money. You have much more money in your pocket. So in a green home, you have, of course, differentiation elements. and it's your choose how to do it. You choose how to do it, because you take your own credit and you build as you want. Of course, for this you need the right team in the project. You need the right architect. You need the right structural, electrical installation engineer. You need to have the right constructor, and you need to have the right financing bank in it. It's not easy to achieve this, but you can easily do it by learning that a green building is important, and is the most important thing that you can do in a new construction, as we previously said. And now we have some example of green buildings in Romania, in the green projects, which were certified with this smarter program called Green Homes in Romania. So as you can see, this one, it's a nice product, high energy savings, low consumption, and on top of that, we have a special interest from different banks in Romania. So starting from a house, we reach to big, large-scale mixed projects. So this project has started, is not yet finalized, but it has few buildings. It is operational, and it provides value for all the stakeholders. This is another project comparing to the previous one. This is actually a considered premium project, luxury project here in Bucharest. Is developed by one of the largest Romanian developers here, and it combines the luxury with energy savings and with the right energy products. So we have the example that you can build green, whatever you are, let's say, building people for, you are building for medium income people or for high income people. The procedure is the same. The certification is the same. Whatever depends in this, in most cases, is the location, big differential. Not because it is a bad location and it doesn't have public transportation on, it doesn't have other features. It's just the positioning in the city. As you well know, in Kiev or in any other cities, you have different areas. So in different areas, you can put the same construction with the same finishes, with the same amenities, but the price of the land, it can be from simple to double. To give you a specific example here, for this project, we have, let's say, an average land value of 500 euro per square meter. It does have access to metro. It does have easy access to the city. But in this location, the price of the land is 3,000 euro per square meter or 2,000 euro per square meter. So from the start, the differentiating thing is the acquisition price of the land. Even the construction, let's say, it's almost the same. This is again a luxury product. And here we have added, let's say, the principal categories of the beneficiaries of the greenhouses which were exposed for the Romanian market. But if you go through, you see that all of these concepts applied to every market. So you have on the side the clients. Who are the clients? The clients are the people which are buying a house to live in. So it is the end user. So the end user, the person that buys a house, not as an investment. Of course, it is an initial investment, but they buy the house to live in. They're not buying the house to put tenants in. Okay, if they put tenants in, probably they'll have the same benefits. But we are talking about the end users, which are looking into these important things they use when decide to buy or to construct a green building. So we are having the comfort. Of course, we are having the energy savings. The most important thing is that we preserve the value of the asset over the time, and not just we preserve, but we increase the value of the asset along the way in an accelerating way than a standard building. And we also may have some tax advantages, as I told you about the property tax reduction, and also the interest rate, which is lower than a standard mortgage. So as I said, you can earn up to 1 month per year in savings by taking a green finance or a green loan. From perspective of creditors, they have lower risk of default, because it's normally if a client pays less in utilities, in maintenance costs, if they pay less in mortgage installments, of course, they have more money. So if they have more money, it's a client with low risk to the bank. Then the banks, the creditors, they have a product that is differentiate from the others, because they finance a green home, they finance a green product. They can access financing product for international corporations that finance green bonds, or they finance green products. They are aligned with the European taxonomy. They are aligned with European legislation. So their scoring, it increases. So of course they have all the reasons to be happy, and on top of that they have the assurance that the building will appreciate in value over time, not just preserving the value, but appreciation of the value over the time. So if we are talking about developers, the developers, first they think, of course, they think about the profit. Okay, to be honest, the most important thing we decide to do a project, they will look to the profit. Of course, they will make a huge profit by developing greenhouses. Why? Because the clients will be happy, the costs will be less, the banks will finance with a better interest. So at the end, they will make higher profits, and they make higher profits with the label on the building. So they've got free marketing because they've got the label, because their development is included in a green portfolio of a bank. They also may get some tax advantages from the municipalities. So they have significant benefits of developing. If we go to community, the community is, I think, happier than the others. Okay, maybe the community is not directly benefiting of financial incentive, but they have lower pollution, which is demonstrated. They have reduced carbon footprint because all the buildings are designed to be energy efficient. Okay. They have general health effects over them. And of course, they have higher awareness. Our community has embraced a new green project. Do you know that industrial platform that used to pollute the city? Guess what? It has been transformed in a new regenerative urban area with green buildings. So this is a direct benefit that a green building can influence the community. So basically, those are one of the key points from the real estate Romanian market. But this is a global tendency and a global perception. Of course, if we look to this global uncertainty, it might be risky to build in general. But considering that it's always a sunshine coming, we will reach to, let's say, better and better times. So when we have a green mortgage, as I said, we have lower interest. And because we have a lower interest and because we pay less, we might think about obtaining a larger loan to extend the loan. Maybe we want to buy the second home, and then we transform our initial investment in the home where we are using. We are transforming it into an investment vehicle, buying, let's say, a new home. So this is only a simple way how to transform your own place where you live into an investment, into a financial product. You don't have only the building. Okay, you have the building, you live in, you are happy, but you are transforming the building into a financial product. And transforming it, of course, it's much more demanding in the market. So far in Romania, we have different banks that provide special interest for green buildings. we name it here for bank. Raiffeisen was the first bank in Romania in 2014, so almost 10 years ago, that create the first green financial product for green homes in Romania. And this project was started with Romania Green Building Council. Alpha Bank was the second bank, and now we have around 10 banks in Romania using these green homes, green mortgage. So it took more than 15 years to work in this green finance to, let's say, have most of the financial market in Romania utilizing green homes, green finance programs. Here we have, you might have seen this in the previous, my colleague's presentation, but we are using this every time to show in figures what are, from practical example, the real benefits and the real value. This is very relevant because you can see how the numbers are influenced by green homes. So if you look at the first column, you can see that at least from the beginning, the sale price of the apartment is bigger on the column C. In Romania now, nobody is building B. Everybody is building either green homes or is not green homes. It's having A-class energy performance certificates. So it's a high quality apartment. It's not green, but it has A rating as a energy performance certificate. So the calculation, it's having here, you can see the value of the loan. Basically, in general, you pay 15% down payment, and then you take from the bank the difference. Of course, if we are talking about a green loan, we might get a lower percentage of advance. So you might get 5% in terms of 15%. But again, this is a simulation. It's a general practice. It can be also calculated in a different way. So we have estimated the monthly rate. The monthly rate, it's meaning what is the installment that you pay to the bank. Then we have the energy cost. You can see here a very big difference. So from 100, you pay 33. From B to green building, it's a big difference, 133. Imagine what makes you this saving every month, but also for the 25 years or 30 years of the mortgage. Imagine what is the saving only from the energy. So here we reach out to a total monthly cost of ownership. So we are talking about around 600 to around 700. Okay, so imagine 100 euro. If you say 100 euro per month, from those two, in 1 year, not we save 1 month of installments, but we might get 1.5 or up to 2 months. So more money to invest. I don't recommend to use the money to go to vacation. I do recommend to invest. So if you make money in a construction, in a building, you will also invest in a building. So we go down to the construction parameters. Okay, so here we might get a 15% cost in construction, a little bit higher. Maybe now this 15%, it has reduced a little bit. Probably we are up to 10%. And it breaks down with the energy consumption for heating, for water, for air conditioning and ventilation, for lighting, and you reach to the total consumption for home. And if we go here, we can say that we made the right investment. So there are any questions so far?
Yes, I have one.
Yes.
I didn't understand about the indicators you were talking about. They are very important life cycle cost indicator, then net present value and so on. And you were talking about the world and changing that will be. And so do these indicators need to be changed or improved? The specialists can't use these indicators now before this world changes.
So what I was saying with that was related to the fact that if we compare Ukraine of 2020 with 2024, if there were this instability generated by the conflict, the indicator were different. But because of this conflict, they accelerated and they changed the process. So instead of having the value of money in time from, let's say, 100 to 110 euro, difference, let's say 10%, in 3 or 4 years, we reach to 40-50% because of this. So far in the world, the inflation, the interest rates for the credits are not in order, because we're influenced by all this COVID pandemic and everything. So the course of the world didn't happen as was planned before. So if we were to make a calculation to build a green building in 2020, we had some indicators, and it reached to a different net present value if we were to take into consideration the conflict, because of these economic indicators are totally messed up, let's say. In 2020, we had, let's say, an EU average inflation of, I don't know, 5 or 6%. Now we have, I think, above 10%. So in some cases, it might generate from simple to double the cost of everything. Of course, I'm talking about general things, but specifically, everything can be determined exactly on specific topic.
Okay, so they don't need any improvement. These indicators.
The indicators are improving every day, but we are on the right path, but they're not where we want to be.
Thank
I
you.
will, you're
Yeah.
welcome. So I will open now the third side of my presentation. Where I will, let's say, repeat the same topics, but applied on commercial buildings. So it's relevant to see that it's the same principle. The principles are the same because are the same stakeholders, but let's say the investment is different because it's open now. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so when we talk about green home, you have some certification standards like LEED, BREEAM, Smarter Green Home, DGNB. When we are talking about commercial buildings like retail centers, office centers, or industrial parks, we are talking almost the same principles and almost the same certification system. Okay, Smarter for EU green homes, it's oriented only for homes. It's not for retail and office, but the principle and the concept is the same. The real difference it's been making that in commercial buildings we have a business that is working. Okay, we have some people in the buildings that are working and are, let's say, living there. We spend almost of the time at the office, so it's the second home. But the usage is different, especially for retail centers, for hotels, and for industrial. For industrial, for example, we might have some machineries. We might have some equipment. We might have some pollution or some problems caused by the type of activity. So let's say we build and we design a building for industrial purpose as to be green. But from the operation and from the results during the operation, we might turn this into a non-green building. It might be green in terms of construction materials, but it might not be green from the other aspects. If we are talking about a retail park or a shopping mall, here, let's say we have a large traffic of people coming in and coming out. So if those people are not aware of the policy of the building, and if they are not aware of how this building is operated and what are the incentives and what are the regulations imposed by the management company or property management company, they might affect the greenness of the building. So it's the life cycle cost of it. They have a, let's say, different approach. If we have an office here, let's say it's more easier to deal with because we know that 10,000 square meters buildings can accommodate, let's say, 700 people or 800 people. So we designed the building in such a way that all the installations and the operating systems are designed for 700 people. Of course, we do the same design and building for retail, because in commercial parks, we estimate what is the catchment area at that initial investment analysis that we do. And we establish what will be the number of people visiting. Of course, this is a rentability and investment analysis. But what is really different to estimate and to be accurate is the total consumption. Because when there are many people, the consumption it's much more higher. So an investor, it's pop up in this question: why to invest in a green buildings? So if I invest in a green building, I will do retail, I will do office, I will do hotel. In what type of building I will invest? So this is a necessary condition actually for different types of segments and different types of users of the building. So a total differentiation factor when we are talking about investing in a green project is this corporate governance, that it's a main driver for an investor to build a green commercial building. Because this is a real way how to gain stakeholders, how to differentiate yourself from the market. How do you see you in the market in relationship with them? If there is a consecrated market, if there is a mature market, like is in Romania now for commercial buildings, all the commercial buildings are green. So it's not a matter of how you differentiate to build green, but it's a matter how you differentiate yourself as a developer to build outstanding, to build 100 points, not 95, not 89, to be on the top. So 10 years ago, the corporate governance imposed by the company were to build green. Now, this is transformed to build green at the top level, because they all know that this label on the building, outstanding, 100 points, platinum, will be the real value of it. So this will bring the real value in relationship with employees, with investors, with the customers, with public municipalities, because you can include your building in the master plan of the municipality. you can ask for property reduction. You can build your reputation in the community that you are building. So basically, having all of this, you have a great exposure. So we see again here that the value of an asset which is green is appreciating in value over the time. And even a crisis coming in along the way, a green asset will preserve the value as being priority. So comparing to the other types of buildings, you cannot build a building without having green features. So, as I said, differentiation and signaling the quality of the product, it's very important. But now we are talking about outstanding, about 100 points, about platinum. So gold is good, but platinum is better. We can have higher rents from both perspectives. We can have lower expenses. So what it really brings value here is that if you have a platinum building, you will access the premium tenants. If you have a gold, you may access the premium tenants. So if you want to be powerful in the market, to have a strong position, you think about top, you think about platinum differentiation. There is also possibility, because we are talking about how to build a green building at the top level. From the scratch, of course, it's easy to do it, because if you have the project team, you have the certification team, and you start in an early stage after you acquire the land, the location. You design in such a way that you reach, let's say, platinum. But if you have an existing building, this is a real challenging, because some of the features that it's easier to foresee from the design phase might be different into reconstruction or upgrading. Of course, it's challenging, but it's possible. It's not impossible. So if you have a transformation of a conventional building, usually we have one important thing. We might have a better location, because usually the locations, the very good location, very attractive location, are difficult to find. But taking an old building and transforming it into a new development with green features can have a big success. And you know, in real estate, the most important thing is location, number one. Number two is location, and number three, location. So you might get a better outcome if you do a renovation of an existing building. Even in some cases, it's difficult because there may be in the city center and you might have some restriction, but the benefits will be higher. So when we do such an investment and we make the calculation as we've seen before, we might have that we have a higher profitability for transformation conventional building into green building. Even it may be difficult, but with benefits of almost the same things, but on top of that, we might get higher returns. So according to the international evidence, there might be plus 5% up to 10% higher costs. But also we have lower vacancies. And this is happening for all types of buildings, from commercial, industrial, and so on. And also the higher level of rents. And imagine that if you have this for a new development, imagine that these figures are even better for conventional building, because the construction cost will be lower, but the level of rents will be higher and the vacancy will be lower. So we have three main advantages. So here is a case study where we choose an existing building with 10,000 square meters area, where we have the construction cost of, I'm saying existing area, it means that it was designed and built and now it's operated as a green building. So it's an existing example. So we have 10,000 square meters. We built it for 1,400 euro per square meters. Here it's calculation including the land. We have an estimated initially in the first year of 80% and 90% in the following years. Of course, those are conservative figures. In most of the cases, these figures are higher, so it's a higher occupancy rate and of course a higher rent. So estimated monthly rent, it's 15 euro per square meters. Expenses are 1.5 euro per square meter, plus utility 2 euro per square meter. In general, for these types of office buildings, the maintenance costs exceed 5%, 5 euro per square meter. So in this case, including utilities, we are about 3.5. 3.5 comparing with 5.5, it's a big difference. And we have had an expected rate of return of 8% and a discount at 5.5. So we are estimating the life cycle cost and the net present value of the investment. And here we have a case study, a different case study where we have the construction cost at a lower price, but also we have the estimated occupancy, which is lower. The costs are almost the same for maintenance. So we are comparing the other one. We are comparing the two. So this is the case with green building. This is the case with conventional building. In the market, we've seen that conventional buildings are searching the market.
I'm sorry, Anne, can I just step in? I just wanted to check on the technical side. I'm not sure whether you are moving slides or not. We are currently seeing still the first slide, financial considerations regarding green buildings.
Oh, I have different slides until now.
Yeah, sorry. I just seem that you are referring to something I don't see, so just checking.
It's good that you observe this. So
Okay.
let's see what happened here, because I didn't. It's actually working. I didn't share. I didn't pause the sharing. But for sure. So you've seen only the first slide?
Yes, yeah, the one with the red triangle and your name and financial considerations regarding green buildings.
So
We can stop and resume the sharing.
I'm stopping it now. It did close now?
Yes, it did close.
Okay, so do you see something now?
No, we are still waiting. The presentation is not even opening. Yeah, it's opening now. Good. Yeah. So now we can see the chart. Let me check which number of the slide it is.
Okay,
It's number 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will. So you have now a comparison with the conventional buildings and green buildings, yes? You see it?
Yes.
Okay.
But also, Andrei, I want to ask you to have finished this in approximately 10 minutes, because we primarily planned to have it before 1. and our interpreter asks us, she has other meetings, so if it's possible, please.
Yes, I'm supposed to finish it. Yes.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
not a problem. So basically, whatever it's important, what I said, it was said I won't come back because for the same. So basically, I will show you figures here that you can see. I think this is a better viewing. So if we have two buildings in the same area, we have enumerated a list of the buildings here, a list of areas in Bucharest. We choose at the benchmark because here we have the fixed evidence. We can see that the same building in the same area, they have big differentiation in value. So basically, this goes to the rationale of the investors and the tenants. If you build green, you have higher rental prices. Okay, in all the cases, and this is specific evidence. Now, if we go to the case study buildings, we can have a green building of 10,000 square meters. We have the construction cost. We have all the estimated occupancy rate and the monthly rent. And we have a conventional building, the same size. We see initially we pay less for the construction, but we have also lower occupancy and a lower estimated monthly rent. Here, I think you see the expenses that are 4.55%. In general, are more than 5%, €5 per square meter, as I said. For a green building, we have 3.5. And also, what you can see that the expected rate of return, you can go here at the bottom of the page. We can see from this case, we have an expected rate of return of 8%, and from the conventional building, about 9%. Also, you can see the figure on the first column that we have 80% occupancy rate and 70% occupancy rate. Of course, those figures were initially thought of being conservatory. So we always have a conservative approach. So for this specific example, this was the calculation made at the beginning of the project, but by the end of the project, we end up with a rent which exceeds 15, so 16 to 17 euro per square meter, and the occupancy of 98%. So we have example where the success of a green building it's really touching the outstanding figures. Even many of the buildings are having 100% occupancy rates in general in Bucharest. Here I made the test for you, but probably I will change the question and I will send you the email via the email. So hopefully we'll have good results. As I said, the aim is to learn the key important things from the green finance. The key important thing is that if you take the consideration the total cycle of the building, it's much more cheaper. It becomes much more cheaper. the total cost of ownership. So if you build green, you will not pay more, you will pay less. Rather it's residential, rather it's commercial, or any type of investment. If you build green, you will pay less. This life cycle cost assessment, it's the most important indicator, and it reveals how not you save money, but you also make money. So I will structure the questions in such a way that you will have it for your entire professional life, the best out of this course. And of course, if you have further questions, Romania Green Building Council team, international team, Ukrainian team, it's here. You can contact us for any questions. If you need our further help in the further development of your knowledge or of your institutional knowledge, of your country knowledge, we learned something in these 15 years of working. It's easy to share our information with you. This is our role here, to share, to spread, to make noise, so everybody can access to all of our national and international knowledge. So I hope that you didn't spend almost 4 hours with me by learning interesting things. I thank you very much for your attention, and as I said, we are here.
Thank you so much, Andrei, for this very inspiring summary, and then of course the whole course. It was truly interesting. So as I hope then you are going to share with our team the link to a test, and we already have your slides. So we are also going to share these with all participants. I would like to also thank you, Volodymyr, from the Energy Efficient Cities of Ukraine, for co-organization of this course, and also to our translators, to Halina, and to all of you to stick with us for so long. Sorry, I see some question marks here. There's a question from Alexander. Sorry. Nope. Will you tell us? No, this is the old. No, this is probably all the. Also, are there any questions? Please go ahead and speak. Yeah, so there's a question from Alexander. Will you tell us which building technology is greener for residential buildings of 2 to 6 floors and makes it easy to achieve environmental requirements?
Can you repeat?
Yeah, so which building technology is greener for residential buildings, and what kind of technology makes it easier to achieve environmental requirements? So maybe Alexander wants to tell us a bit more. So multi-apartment residential buildings, what technology would you recommend? Maybe Alexander meant a certificate, the type of certification. Alexander, if you would like to, materials, yeah. So types of materials for multi-apartment, multi-floor buildings.
Well, it's difficult to name one specific supplier or one specific technology, because now in the market there are so many options of installations of materials. Basically, all the international manufacturers have created special products for A to zero in construction.
Alexander is further asking perhaps either concrete, brick, or timber, kind of in general. Maybe if I can jump in, we are going to have hopefully another course, perhaps this or next month, with an expert on natural materials. It's Sanela Klarić from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and she's going to speak a little bit more about usage of especially of wood and straw in post-war reconstruction and kind of usage of these natural materials in buildings with kind of static issues. So perhaps that might be an answer in this direction.
Yes, I also can answer from the financial perspective.
Of course.
For sure, that course will reveal much more things technical about construction materials, but from the financial point of view, if you have wood, or if you have concrete, or if you have any other type of material, if you have plastic, if they have sustainable in it, the influence will be the same. You just have to balance commercially on the specific product. Because for example, there are Holcim is an international company. They created the green concrete in Romania. So whatever sustainable material fits for your project, you may choose it, because from the total list of scoring that you have, it depends what scoring helps you better, because you might have some wooden producer in Ukraine which is closer to the development, that by using that wood will bring you a better scorage in the whole list. So it really is not a general answer. It has to be applied with the smarter green home scoring in front, and just make the balance with the green consultant. This is really the best approach you can do it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so with that, I think I would end it here. Thank you everyone for coming. If you have any further questions about Smarter or about the funding of green housing, feel free to send these questions either to me or to Andrei. So it's eva.meheim@outlook.com, the email from which you are receiving all the invitations. And as we said, there will be still some invitations coming your way. Also the test and the slides. So please stay in touch with us, and we are looking forward to have more conversations like these. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Andrei.
The chat.
And please follow our announcements. We will have our last, maybe last or maybe not last course on February 13. And we will speak about some materials and some technical aspects of green building. So maybe you can find additional answers on your question on that course. And please follow our project, our courses. Thank you, Andrei, one more time. Thank you, everyone. See you now in next.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you. Ďakujeme.